And we are live.
Hello, all you beautiful people out there.
Lord Jesus. I
Tune
gotta pray
in.
every week, Quay. Every week. You never know what you're gonna get.
Listen, my randomness is what keeps you on your toes.
That's facts. That's definitely facts. And mix that well. All right, for those who tuned in so far, please say hello. Let us know you're here. Say hello.
Hi, hi, hi.
Pray more, worry less. I like that, Quay.
Thank you.
Where you see that at? Oh, I see it. No, my good contacts ain't working.
Oh God, I can't. All right, we're gonna play the countdown video. While we play that, please share, and we'll be
Where's my
back.
coffee?
Lord Jesus, bye. Right on time. Okay. Literally.
Welcome to Occasionally Posh, where we enjoy life, laughs, and shenanigans. I am your girl, Miss Classy, Chassie B.
She a liar. And I'm Sunshine. Welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Quay, for joining us. Before we get started, please like, comment, share, say hello, let us know you're here. And join in on the topic for tonight. It's pretty good. I've actually had a couple people hit me up today and say, I can't wait. So, Quay, I'm just going to apologize in advance if we get some questions. It was not us. But before we get started, take some time to introduce yourself, tell the world or whoever what you want them to know about you, where to find you, whatever you want to say. Go for it.
All right. Well, I'm Quay. I go by Quay. My real name is Monquavis Edwards. I'm originally from North Carolina, Goldsboro to be exact. I'm 34 years old, uh, 10 and a half years military, serving in the military. I'm in the Army currently. I have a 4-year-old son. You know, that's my world. If you don't know me and you get a chance to see my social media, you'll find out. That's my boy there. Um, I also have a podcast. It's the Quality Time Podcast. You can find me on YouTube. I try to drop uh, at least twice a month, depending on my schedule. But I try to always drop some good content and things like that. Social media, Monquavis Edwards on Facebook, Quality Time _ podcast on Instagram, and the same thing on Twitter. Other than that, I think that's about it. Not too much.
You did pretty good. A while ago, I thought you was about to be like, I'm a Pisces. And I was like, oh, Lord.
I like long walks on the beach.
I'm a Capricorn though.
I'm looking for a good, stable woman. No, let me stop. All right. Thank you for joining in. Who we call the lady on the podcast, but Miss Mary is the one that said y'all should have him. So Chastity hit you up immediately. And thank you for accepting. So no but Tierra said, hey y'all, hey. Gwendolyn said, hey y'all. And then look, we talked about it. She said, look, at all my fave pop folks in the same place. I love to see it. That's right. That's
going
right.
on.
Thank you. So we always start with a foreplay, and I'll let Chassie B have this one all to herself tonight. So
wait, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay, because it was going in and out. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Oh Lord. All right, here you go. Oh, hold on. What was the title of it? Hold on, let me go. Wasn't there a title? Oh, here we go. All right. Go for it.
Tell a black story, or tell a story in black. So I saw this right here on Facebook the other day, and I got tickled because whenever I'm telling my friends a story, this is so me. The introduction. So tell me why the climax. We got to get up to the climax, and I'm like, come to find out. And then at the end, it's at the end of the day. That's how I close it. And that is so me.
That's so black. I
Yeah.
can't.
I think that hit right on the head though. I can't even lie.
That is so black. All right, the next one.
The next one was, and you have to mention, mind you, I say that to say this. All right, so boom. So how about? And long story short, but the story is never short.
Never.
Whole time, story ain't short.
Do you got a go-to saying, Quay? A go-to, you know it's black, but you can't help. You realize you said it after you said it.
It's probably one of those on the list, to be honest. Probably I use all those a lot. I can't even pinpoint one, but if I do have one, it's one of those off that list for sure.
Right. All right, here the next one.
And that's what it said. I said all that to say this, because you have to connect the story so that people understand. Like I say all of these things. Because you got to get the backstory. You be like, and he did this. So I said all of that to say this. And then we got to get back to the point.
I say that all the time. Literally. I go on a little rant and I be like, hold on, how did I get here again? Oh yeah, I said all that to say all the
time. Sicily, 1943.
You over there talking about chicken, and they say, you know, you say that he hung her up on the tree. I'm like, how'd you get from the chicken to the tree?
I said all that to get to this point.
I said all that to say, oh yeah, that seasoning she was using before she was hung though. That I'm like, really?
That's how it be. We're gonna we'll drag it out right now. Gotta get your story
all
out
the
there.
way. All the way. All right, the last one, Chess.
Hold on. I don't went out. Okay.
You ain't went out on this end. Okay, go ahead. Technical difficulties. Come on, technology. All right, let me read the comments while she figuring out her life. Tierra said, I can hear Chaz telling a story just like that. That's facts, Tierra. That's facts. And then she said, Golden Girl quote. Okay, Chastity B. She really done froze. She done froze.
She said that storm.
We live in the same city.
It might be going down on her side of town.
Yeah, you right. You might be right. The last one says the turn irregardless, or if you having judgment, couldn't be me. I'm just saying, or rhetorical for support. So you tell me what would you do? Was I wrong for that? Offended. This MF gonna tell me who I look like, Boo Boo the Fool.
Yep.
Do people still say that in 2022?
Oh yes. Guarantee you're gonna hear it from somewhere. You're gonna hear it all the time. All these have been spot on. Like they all are relevant still to this day. I know everybody says them to some extent.
Right. Well, while we waiting on her to come back, have you been following this whole Michael B. Jordan and the Harvey girl? What's your take on what's happening? What's your take on it?
I actually posted about it earlier. I don't care. Like I really could care less like what they do. Like, but it is what it is. Like if from the story I got was they dated for a year or whatever. She wasn't ready to settle down and he wanted to get married. If that was the case, that's cool. I understand it. Like I have no issue with that. I would rather her say, all right, I'm not ready to get married than to marry him for no reason or marry him for money or anything like that. She made an adult decision. I don't really know. Social media somehow takes it and turns it into men versus women like everything else. And you know, now it's she did what y'all do to us game, and I don't really like that conversation. But that's how I feel about it. Like,
right.
What about you?
I mean, I feel like number one, relationships in the celebrity world have to be hard. So I'm so tired of people who are not celebrities trying to put themselves in their spot because it's definitely different. Point blank. Period. For number two, I mean, their relationship goes like these regular old folk, broke folks with no money. Like some people feel like the relationship going one way, the other person feel like no, this is just chill. They didn't really communicate about their long-term goals, which is probably what happened. He probably just assumed that's what she wanted. And then it was a lesson learned, I feel like people just making it bigger because money involved.
Exactly. And a year, in my mind, I don't know, some people feel different. A year is not a long time. Like
it's
especially for people that are busy like them, they got schedules. They probably only see each other a few times out of the month unless they take time off. A year is not a long time. I might not be ready to jump into a marriage either. So
right.
I don't know. If they were regular people, nobody would care.
Nobody would care. Facts. I was wasting time by asking him about the Harvey and Michael B. Jordan situation.
Oh, okay.
You have any thoughts on it before we move on?
I just think that he is 10 years older than her, and she is not where he is at. Point blank.
Right. Why do we as people don't figure this out before we together for a year though? Where do we take accountability and that it wasn't what it's supposed to be anyway?
Because people don't communicate. They rush into stuff. They are attracted to physical initially, and they don't start peeling back the layers until 6 months into a year. That's whenever people start peeling back the layers. And they're like, oh crap, here I am stuck.
Yep.
Yeah. And she is a beautiful human being. So I mean, this probably is what he was attracted to at first, which is great for a while, but we got to start. Well, I can't say we because I'm not in the dating world, but folks got to start being more strategic in how they date or court or whatever you want to call it. Y'all wasting each other's time. You probably wasted her time because you should have said I'm doing this to get married from the jump, and she wasted your time by not saying I'm not gonna be ready to be married for 5 or 10 years or whatever the case may be. Like I feel like both of them can learn from the experience.
If I remember correctly, I think I read that he wanted her to quit like Instagram modeling and all that kind of stuff so that he could, I guess, take care of her.
That's going into he say, she say at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah. But if that's the case,
he may have offered to take care of her.
Yeah, that could be it.
You know what I'm saying?
But if that is the case, I think it's crazy to meet somebody that's just like a guy meeting an exotic dancer and then being upset after a year that she's a dancer. Like whenever you met her, she was dancing. It was okay then. So why is it not okay now?
Exactly. I 100% agree. But instead, he was more focused on renting out aquariums and stuff. And now look at him. Sick and crying.
He gonna live and he learn. I think he really loved her though. Like I feel like I said, he may have offered to take care of her. Shoot, her own daddy probably wanted to quit some of that stuff. Like, let's just be real. So men, if they taking care of their woman, you know what I'm saying? I could see it being offered. Was it forced upon? The way he loved her, I can't, unless we hear it from her lips. I can't say that that's the case. So again, that's just people reading into their relationship, trying to make it bigger than it really is. And just mind your business and let people be people. That's my motto for 2022. Mind your business and let people be people.
I like that.
Like, God, dog. Anywho, Chaz, check your mic to make sure it went back to the regular setting because it sounded like it did.
I'm not on my computer. I'm on my phone.
Okay. Well, don't worry about it.
So, am I too loud?
No, you fine. I could just tell the difference was all. No, you fine. Mary said, "At least you froze on a good frame. At least you weren't looking like this."
Look at God showing up and showing up.
I can't. We always want to put God and stuff. And then she said, like Quay said, they're celebrities. A year isn't a long time. A year, it really isn't a long time for. Well, it might seem like a long time for regular folk, I guess, but in reality, like the time frames we put on dating really ain't long enough if you really think about it.
Listen, I thought that they was together longer than a year. I did not realize it was just a year.
It just feels like that because they in the public eye.
Mm-hmm.
Really ain't. And she said, at least in they where they dated, it didn't work, they'll be all right. That's facts.
Right.
That's total facts.
People break up all the time. I break up all the time.
Mm. I can't. She barely be in it and broke up. No, let me stop.
Joe do. I ain't got time.
All right, so we talking about accountability tonight. We kind of already done started the discussion due to Chassie B's internet situation. But just to give a little definition what accountability is, it's an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility or to account for one's actions. And I want to say one's own actions just to make it super clear. So, number one, do y'all feel like folks in general, but folks especially in the Black communities understand what accountability is? You go first, Quay.
No. No, nope, not at all.
Why do you think that's the case?
Because most people weren't really taught what accountability was. Even like I'm not even gonna get too deep into it, but just throughout history, it was always easier to point the finger at somebody else, and that's something that has been brought along through everything, especially in our community. With the littlest thing, it'll always be well, I did that because you did this, and that's not being accountable. That's pointing the finger. That's passing the buck, putting blame on anybody but us. So, like I told y'all when we connected about this podcast, like accountability is really a topic that I talk about a lot in my circles and things, because people don't want to be held accountable, and they definitely don't do it to themselves. It's hard. It's a hard thing to do, honestly, though. But people don't hold themselves accountable in our community the way they should.
I agree. What about you, Chas?
I agree. I feel like within the last, I say like 2 to 5 years, I've learned to hold myself accountable for past relationships that didn't work out, past friendships that didn't work out. It wasn't always 100% me, but I did take some actions in why the relationships ended. And it was easier to point blame and say, well, he did this or she did that, and me not take accountability for what I done. But in reality, I did this and I did that. So I need to take accountability for why the relationship ended and stop pointing the finger.
Right. And to add to what you're saying, like especially in relationships, we like to blame each other and finger point and things of that nature. But sometimes accountability could even be that person was just a completely bad person. But the accountability on my part is, excuse me, y'all, I already knew that way before I acknowledged it and I ignored it. Right. So it's like somebody continue to treat you wrong and you know it's wrong, but you continue to take it. There's still some part of you that has to take accountability for that. Yes, they are wrong for being a bad person, but you knew that and you stayed. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like people just don't want to do it at all. Some of the research that I did and I read up on said that, I don't know if this is true or not, but y'all tell me what y'all think. They say it goes back to slavery time where blacks were blamed for everything. So when the time came when we could actually voice that we're not at fault at something, then we took it all the way to the extent one don't want to be blamed for nothing. Y'all agree or disagree?
I won't put it. I won't say 100%, but that was kind of what I was saying when I was like, I won't go so deep into it. But I think it does play a part in it, because it's something that was taught to a certain extent of how, you're going to be the blame. You're the reason this didn't happen. And over time, it gets passed down. It gets passed down through generation and generation. So I think it may not have been the full reason why, but I think it definitely played a part in the way that accountability is viewed today.
Yeah. What about you, Chaz? I see you was kind of like,
Yeah, like I get it, but at some point in time, we got to stop living in the past. And there's certain things that we can still bring up from the past, but that right there, like, there was a reason why they didn't want to tell on each other or didn't want to tell on themselves back then. Now, and it was to save their, well, I guess that is the same reason now. Never mind. I agree.
I mean, I feel like you was going on the right path. I think I can see why where the root of the issue came from. But I also think that at some point we have to, like you said, leave that in the past and grow and learn and build and whatever from it. If we're gonna continue to live in the past ourselves, why do we expect people around us to live in the future?
Exactly.
So it's like we got to leave it where it is. Right.
and we know what it is. We know what being accountable and accountability is and what it means and how to do it. So there's no excuse now to not do it. You can't say, well, we don't know what it is. We have no thought of what being accountable is or holding yourself accountable. Like you gave us the definition at the beginning of this. It's easy to figure out, what does accountability mean? Oh, I have to take account for my actions. Then do it. So you can't really hold that, as the reason anymore, because you can figure out what it is and you can do it if you want to do it.
Right. Well, how does someone take accountability when they never think they're wrong?
That was gonna be my question. I was gonna say, whenever he said everybody knows how to, I was like, but what if they don't? Because I feel like
it's some folk out there don't think they ever wrong.
I honestly don't think they know how to take accountability.
That is a hard one, and it's a hard question because at some people, like I think everybody knows that some people just refuse to do it. I don't think anybody just doesn't know how to be accountable, even if they feel like they're right every time. At some point in us, we know, all right, maybe I was tripping. Maybe I didn't go full all the way in with what was going on. And if they just don't, then the people around them or the people that are attempting to show them that they should be accountable and hold them accountable have to do it. You have to still hold them accountable, even if they don't want to accept it or they don't admit it or they don't see it. Because a lot of times people don't want to be held accountable. And we know, all right, I already know once I get in an argument with her, it's going to be my fault again. So I'm just going to shut up. And she's never going to learn to be accountable. And I'm just using a woman in the example. But if she's wrong, she got to stand on being wrong. And if she don't want to stand on it, I'm going to stand on her being wrong. And now we got to figure out where we go from here.
Then you're going to be a hater. He never a hater.
Yep.
Then they're gonna reverse psychology. They don't want you to be held accountable. It ain't me.
I said all that to say this.
Exactly.
So how do people learn the difference between holding somebody accountable and blaming them? Because a lot of people mix it up.
Still guilty of that.
Yeah, I think that is a fine line. I think you have to. It's all about the way that you communicate it, the way that you explain why or what you're trying to hold them accountable for, get them to see what they should hold themselves accountable for. Because a lot of times you can have the right intent, but your message can be wrong. And if the message is wrong, then the intent don't really matter. So if you know that, all right, I'm trying to hold this person accountable. Maybe I can give them an example of, when I did something similar so they can understand it like that. But when it comes to blame, I think a lot of times people feel like they're being blamed or attacked when it's the situation is, tense, or they just feel like they can't even get a word. Even if they feel like they're wrong, they're right. You're not even giving them a chance to voice their opinion on why they may feel like they're right. Even if you know flat out that they're wrong and nothing they say actually is going to make them right, still give them a chance to talk, give them a chance to voice their opinion, because like most people, and I can speak for myself, if somebody's blaming me or just telling me straight up and down I'm wrong and not even give me a chance to explain, I'll probably just shut down and I really won't care even if you are right, let me get a chance to speak and say what I want to say. So I think the communication is a big part of it.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big believer. It ain't what you say, it's how you say it. And a lot of people say they hear that, but they think that's what they're doing, but it's really not. Like a lot of us communicate our feelings when it's at its highest peak. And they could go either way. When you mad at somebody, they gonna get all mad words that you got in your vocabulary, even though what you saying is truthful. The way you communicating it is wrong, and that can be on the good side. I love you, and then you meet that cycle to be like, but I love you until you die. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could go either way. Like it ain't. I mean, I tell you that you love me, but bro, back up. Like you know what I'm saying. So I mean, it ain't what you say, it's how you say it. And if you really are related to someone in family, if you're really in a relationship with that person, things of that nature, you should care enough to learn how to communicate for that person. A lot of people get confused by I worked on how I'm going to communicate, period. But how you communicate to people can be different across the board. How I talk to my mama may not be how I talk to my daddy, may not be how I talk to my best friends, may not be how I talk to my spouse. You have to care enough about people to learn how to communicate, period.
That is a fact.
And I always think that I can't learn nothing anymore. We can always learn. We can learn something till we dead in the grave.
Amen.
I agree.
That right there just made me think. I was listening to your podcast earlier, Quay, when you had the guys on there, and one of them said something kind of relatable to what Sunshine just said. He said that he had to learn how to speak his wife's language. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's interesting, because even as friendship, even like in friendships outside of relationships, I speak different to certain friends or certain people because I've learned their language and I communicate to them in their language. And I think a lot of times people don't necessarily do that when it comes to relationships, like boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. Right. They don't tend to do that.
No, right. or they don't tend to do it until it's an issue, and then they try to communicate through the issue, and it's too late because, like you said, the emotions are high and everybody's on edge, so the points aren't really getting across. And that's I think it's something like you said, like he said in the video, that's something that it takes time, and you have to apply yourself, both parties, no matter what type of relationship it is. Even as parents, you have to learn how to communicate with your kids, because if you have a boy and a girl, your son, the way you communicate with your son might not be the same way you communicate with your daughter on even a similar topic. On them doing the chores or cleaning their room, you still may have to do it differently. But if you don't put the time in and you don't talk to them and observe them and ask them questions, you won't know. You'll just think the way that you do it and the way that works for you will work for everybody, and it won't.
Right. And it'll leave you in the dirt. Let's go to the comments. So Mary said, hell no. People, there was a reference to people don't know what accountability is. And then Gwen said, some people have been wrong so long they think they are right. That's fact.
That is 100% true.
Facts. I kind of blame the people that's around them for that, though. You allowed them to be wrong for so long.
Yeah, but that's what I said. Like, when you deal with somebody so long, you deal with somebody and it's just going, do I even want to get into this? And because I know how it's going to end. And doing that will allow them to feel like, well, I'm going to always be right, because nobody's going to make me, like, people won't challenge that person because they feel like they can't get through. So
because sometimes it's like, why argue with a fool? Because both of y'all look like a fool. So just let that person not take their accountability, because I don't feel like looking foolish with you.
Yep.
Yeah, but you can make them be accountable with holding them to that accountability in your actions.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Like if the family member just wrong to all the family, but y'all still invite him to everything, go there for everything. He asked to borrow money, you let him borrow it. You know what I'm saying? Like once they get alone and really start thinking about that thing and realize ain't nobody around, they ain't gonna have no choice but to be accountable, because they're gonna want to be coming back around. But us in Black communities, we be like, no, we got to stick. That's still family. Wait,
not Quay. Not Quay.
You speak to me, I won't pot my lips, doggone it. The last time we saw each other, you was rude. And I'm not going to be nice to you until you apologize.
You got to. And if hey, I don't care. No, Ma, I'm not talking to nobody. I don't care. No, I'm not little no more. You can't make me do it. They wrong. if they wrong, they got to stand on being wrong. And if they want to, or if they ever decide to correct it, if they ever decide to correct it, I might be open to listening. But I ain't. No, I quit playing that game a long time ago.
Right. Exactly. Which I'm not saying. I'm not sitting here and promoting if you see them at the food line and they say, hey, you roll your eyes. I'm not promoting that.
I ain't making no promises.
I'm not saying that. We can still be nice and say hello and move about our way. But I'm saying don't treat people. Got to earn. We have to earn in real life. We have to earn at work. You know what I'm saying? We got to earn at school. Why can't you earn to be in the circle? Is all I'm saying. To be in the circle.
Agree.
Mary said it's just like a love language. Y'all are spot on. That's true. That's true. And then she said, "Shit, I cuss people out, family and all." I don't cuss them out, but I allow them to know that they wrong. Allow them to know they wrong. They
use
wrong.
some strong words. I use strong words sometimes. Sometimes it don't get across as good unless you put some season on that paragraph. Doggone it.
I can't. Not some seasoning. I cannot. I found this little list that said there's the 7 truths about accountability that you need to know. So 1 and 2 is pretty self-explanatory. It says accountability starts with you, and then you have to hold them accountable. Number 3, I thought was good as a good. Accountability is not a one-time thing. Ain't that the worst thing in relationships or friendships? I said I was sorry. But you still doing the same thing.
And that's what I was going to say. You still doing the same thing. So
doing the same thing.
And that right there is dang, it was something else that was said on the podcast. This is why I need to take notes whenever I'm be listening to this stuff. I forgot what it is. It's gonna come back to me and I'll come back to it.
All right. Number 5 says accountability cannot be delegated, meaning I can't just say, Chaz, you need to be held accountable, and then it's gonna happen. That ain't how it works. Somebody gotta want to be accountable.
You can see accountability. Like a lot of people don't even look at it that deep, but you can see accountability. In most circumstances, you can see when somebody or feel when somebody is actually working on holding themselves accountable, because the actions change. If the actions don't change, the accountability didn't work, or it wasn't even attempted. It's just, all right, I'm gonna hold myself accountable. Got you, and then it's over with. But if they're really doing it, you can see it. Like if somebody, and I'll relate it to a relationship again. If you and your spouse, y'all have a disagreement or a misunderstanding, or just have to get to a common place in something, and either one of you have to be the one to uphold your end of that accountability, you'll see later on down the line if that was actually done or if that problem comes back. If it comes back, then somebody didn't hold themselves accountable.
Right. And I ain't saying people gonna change overnight either, but you have to show some type of progress. Like I ain't saying, okay, now you realize you was wrong. The next time it's gonna be spot on. You're gonna be perfect. No, that ain't gonna happen because we human and it takes a while to learn a new habit. You know what I'm saying? But recognize and grow little by little. I think that's where people get lost at. They feel like either I'm gonna change and it's gonna be done, or I tried and failed. Oh well. Like that ain't how life work. That ain't how life work.
Sometimes it's just easier to do. I tried, I failed. Doggone it. Like me trying to get to work on time whenever I had to work all the way in Pittsburgh. I tried.
You can hold yourself accountable. You should have went to bed before 1 a.m. You didn't need to stop by McDonald's to get no coffee either. Come on now.
I hate waking up in the mornings. I hate it. That's my issue.
Same.
I agree. I second that.
I'm a night person.
I don't like it either. Mary said that part, Chaz. My family only understand cussing. Really? Only is a strong word, Mary. Only.
My kids, sometimes that's all they understand. I'd be nice. I'd be like, sit down. They still be standing up. But when I say sit your ass down, sit down.
We can't just raise the voice without the cuss word. Like
I sometimes I do. I start here and I work myself up, and then that cuss word have to come out. I have to put a little garlic salt on there.
I can't.
Y'all ain't listening.
James
my
Richmond
uncle.
said, "What's Chastity?"
He's probably said, "What's up?"
Oh, what's up?
Hey, Uncle James.
Mary said, "You don't know my family."
She done seen y'all fussing on Facebook sometimes.
I have. And then number 6 and 7 just really quickly says accountability is the difference between success and failure. So if you never take ownership, then you always gonna fail, pretty much. And then number 7 is you have to hold people accountable. So get an opportunity to explain themselves, but also provide the other insight of it, and then offer praise and encouragement to move them along if they accept it. So that was the 7. So something I thought was interesting is that did we learn in Black communities did we truly learn in Black communities how to be accountable when we were children? And I wanted to play a small clip from a non-Black family and how he learned accountability at a young age.
One time I rolled in, I was supposed to be home at 11:30 this time. Got an extra half hour, right? I roll in at 11:31, 11:32, like flirting between the lines. My dad is at the top of the steps when I get in. He took away the car. He said, figure out a way to get to school tomorrow. Okay. You just take it right on the chin. All right. Sounds good. I guess I got to figure out a way to get to school tomorrow. And you know what, Nick? Like, now in real life, when situations come up where there's consequences for your actions, I revert back to those situations. And I'm like, all right, I'll just find a ride to school. If something doesn't go my way, I'll just figure it out because I've done it in the past. I don't feel sorry for what I did. I don't think life's unfair because something didn't work out my way. I made the mistake. I should have listened. There's consequences for your actions. Figure it out.
You feel like that happened for us in our communities? Go ahead, Chad. Let you go first this time.
I don't know. I want to say yes, because I don't feel like everything was handed to me. And it was a lot of times when I was younger, we had to figure out stuff on our own. But I don't know if it was, I don't know. Let me hear y'all's to see if I can come up with something.
Go ahead, Quay. Go ahead.
I was kind of the same. I don't know. I think his example was a good example because you could kind of like see it. But I think so, for the same reason, like you said, Chassie, like I know me personally, I wasn't given everything, at all. But also me, so my mom has 3 kids. I'm the oldest and I'm the only boy. So my accountability came in kind of different form of you being the oldest. There's going to be certain expectations that I have of you that you have to do if I'm not here, if I'm at work, or et cetera, et cetera. And I can remember times where I may not have did something, that I should have done before she got home, and there was a consequence to that. So next time I know, let me take this food out before I try to go outside and play with my friends, because I remember what happened last time and I don't want that to happen again. So I think we do. I think it's a lot of difference between like us and maybe like your cousin or your friend, and the way you may feel like you were held accountable or taught accountability, then you see them in a certain situation. It may not be the same, so we kind of compare it. But I think we have a level of accountability that we were taught as kids. So I would say yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree. The only drawback I feel like that happens, and I think I've said this on the podcast a few times, is that our parents got onto us quickly when we were wrong, but did they explain why we were wrong?
I agree with that.
Or did they just say, I told you not to do it. You supposed to be here, do what I say. That's it. I think that's where we failed, is we didn't really, like, I knew I was wrong, but did I really learn why I was wrong? Like, I could tell myself why I think I was wrong based on how my mama reacted, but I probably still did the same mess. I just made sure I didn't get caught because she was going to be mad. Like, let's just be real. I don't think I really learned.
Just did it sneakier.
Right. I don't know if I really learned the lesson. I just learned that, if I get caught, she's going to be mad and I'm going to be on punishment. But what did I really learn from being in trouble? I don't know if Black families really did a good job about explaining and teaching us how to learn from our mistakes versus just knowing that we made a mistake.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Look at now, my youngest, y'all know, Jesus Christ. Every time they get in trouble, it's always followed up with a why. And because I said so, it's not a legitimate answer to him. That it's not enough. He wants to know why. And so I've gotten better with trying to explain to them, like, this is why you got in trouble. This is why I was upset. What were you supposed to do? I was supposed to blah, 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 blah. Okay, what did you do? I didn't do da, 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 da. Okay, so that's why you got in trouble. What do we need to do next time? And then they'll let me know what they need to do next time. But I remember growing up, a lot of the times whenever we got in trouble, why did I get in trouble? Because I said so. Why can't I do this? Because I said so. But why? I remember whenever I had put my hand on the stove when I was smaller. No, I take that back. I had my mama had told me not to put butter in the toaster. And I said, why? And she said, because I said so. You're not supposed to. I want to know why I can't put butter in the toaster. So guess what I did?
So what you gonna do? Put the butter in put the whole stick, didn't you?
I took a slab of butter, slapped it on that piece of toast, stuck it down in that toaster, and put that thing down. All of a sudden, you're
right.
But because I said so wasn't a legitimate enough answer for me, and I needed to figure out why.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's funny that you said that. I caught myself saying that this weekend when my son, he wanted to go to the swimming pool. I told him we're gonna go to the swimming pool this weekend, and when he had asked me, I wanted to wait until it was later in the day so it would cool off. And he asked me probably like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's beaming hot outside. He was like, Daddy, we going outside? We going to the swimming pool? I was like, nah, we're gonna go later. It's hot right now. And he was like, why? And I just heard myself, and at the same time I caught it. I was like, because I said so. I was like, damn, I sound like my mom.
I say that all the time.
And I was like, so I got him. I was like, we're gonna go outside later, but we're gonna wait to go outside because it's too hot right now, and I don't want you to get sunburned. And even though he don't know what sunburn is, I gave him the explanation because he asked that why. But it was funny. I was like, damn, I heard this so many times once I asked that question.
Just like them.
We try so hard not to be them, and we be them.
And we turn out just like mama, daddy, grandma, auntie, all of them. If you really listen to yourself, you sound just like them. So they let you know how much, what they do around you, how they, really put a stamp on your life. So when people say generational curses and things don't exist, they are bald face liars. It definitely does.
That's a lot of cap.
It definitely does. A lot of stuff we do and don't even realize it. It's just automatic. Like it ain't even it ain't never you thought about a process. You just did it. And it's been a few times as a parent, I'm like, why did I had to go back to my son and be like, okay, I know what I said. You know what I'm saying? I had to go back. My mama would have never done that. I mean, I love my mama to death, but she would have never came back to me and be like, okay, what I said wasn't actually right. Cause they gonna be right.
I do that to my kids. And sometimes it sucks. Because whenever they right and they know they right, and that little one again, he will come to me, he'd be like, Mommy, I was right. You was wrong. What do you need to say? I'm like, boy, if you don't get out of my face.
Honey, these new age kids is different anyway. They just different, period. Different period. But we had Mark Robinson on, said absolutely. Thanks for joining. He's going to be on our podcast this month as well. So thank you. And then Tiara said, sometimes I used to lose my key. My mom first explained that someone could rob her or rape us. Yes, she said that if they knew where we live, people are watching and I need to be careful, which helps me to be careful now. That's good though. I mean, it sounded dramatic. And as a kid, you was probably like, really, Mom? Like really?
Like they picked up this key and knew that it went to this
right. They just right.
Man, I lost one house key, and to this day, I'm 34. My mom would not give me a key to her house. She would not do it.
See, that's accountability right there.
She would not give me a key to her house. When I go home to visit, she got a spare key that she let me use. And when I leave, she made sure I put that key back every single time. and I was probably like 14 or 15 when I lost that key. It was a wrap. I had to knock on the door every single.
Yep. How far do you live from her now?
I'm in Georgia right now, so it's like 4.5 hours to North Carolina.
Yeah, because if you lose it in Walmart 4.5 hours away, they're gonna know that key go to her house.
Yep. That's a fact.
It's funny how much parents don't know about technology, but when it comes to stuff that like that, they be like, they probably got a computer at the house. They can stick the key in it and tell them exactly where it goes.
Like, no, they can't.
No,
you don't even know how to use the emoji, ma'am. Calm down.
Oh, man, that's true. All right, so we already touched based on relationships and stuff, but I wanted to show the definition. It says being accountable in a relationship means acknowledging the effect your behaviors have on your partner and owning how you contribute to the negative cycle. I really want to hone in on that negative cycle. How do y'all feel like negative cycles have hindered you guys in your past relationships?
I'll go first.
All right.
It caused me to get a divorce.
Whoop.
Yeah, I can talk about it. It caused me to get a divorce. I was married about 4 years, and before I was able to mature and hold myself accountable to the point that I know I can now and that I work to do. Oh yes, nah, I ain't doing that. Why you acting like that? What you mean? Why you talking? That's not how it goes. That's not why you think that. It was always not being accountable and not holding myself accountable in the relationship. And that's how it contributed to the negative cycle. It just kept going until it ended up the way that it did. That was the moment though that made me realize, nah, you gotta tighten up. You gotta own up to this. Because once I had to, sign that paper and realize, all right, it's over. It's a wrap. What did you do? You got to answer to this. You got to answer to yourself more than anybody. And having my son also was the part of that, because now I got to not only be accountable to myself, I got to be accountable to him too for this situation. So it was definitely a eye-opening experience and a learning point. So that's how I can say it contributed to that for me.
Right. What about you, Chassie B? You still there? What happened?
Can y'all hear me?
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. My internet was acting up again. Okay. So I didn't hear half of what Quay said, but something that my behaviors, I don't know how contribute to negative cycle. Okay, so for me, it was me not knowing how to, I guess, be alone. I've always had a relationship or some type of situationship with guys, whether we was actually boyfriend, girlfriend, or somebody that I could be with on a pretty much daily basis. And I never really knew how to be alone. And I think with me not knowing how to be alone, I was very toxic in a lot of situations where I didn't have to be toxic. I wasn't happy a lot of the times because I was just staying there or just being with that person because they was convenient. And that's who I was talking to at the time. Just like I feel like with my kid's father, I wasn't ready to be in that relationship. And I went in there not ready to be in it, and it wasn't healthy. Right. So I had to learn how to be okay with being by myself and taking accountability for the fact that a lot of the stuff I messed up.
Yeah. I can agree with that. I think I had the same lesson in life, Chaz. I never knew how to, I think she froze again, but I never knew how to be alone. One of my parents was in a marriage for a very, very long time, but I never really seen them be fully happy. One of my other parents was was like kind of bouncing from relationship to relationship, struggling with the fact that she didn't know how to love herself first or love themselves first, excuse me. And so for me growing up, I was trying so hard not to be either or that I kind of intertwined it and done a little bit of both. So I jumped from relationship to relationship. I stayed in some relationships that I shouldn't have stayed in. And by the time I got to the relationship that I'm in now, I'm literally learning myself within the relationship, which you really should learn yourself before you commit to a relationship. Right. But I'm learning it at the same time. So we going through the hurdles of me trying to figure out my life at my 30-something old age, which I should know by now, but I never took the time to do it. I never took the time to, I'm going to take her off since you bro. Oh, she already go. I never took the time to learn exactly who I am, and then so I could recognize what I needed in a relationship. So I'm learning it at the same time. So that's a negative cycle.
Yeah.
I ain't
But
want
I
to
think,
say that at first. I always wanted to blame them. They ain't worth nothing. They ain't do this. They didn't communicate. They didn't blase. And then I had to take accountability for my part. So go ahead, Quay.
that's the like, but that's the maturity part and the growth part, because like I said, my situation, and that's why I it's easy for me to talk about it now, was because I anybody that knew me and knew her, it was no way I could have blamed her for any of the things that went on. It was, nah, bro, that ain't her, so it was no reason for that. It was just a point in time. It was like, all right, you got to man up. You made your bed. Now you got to lie in it. Are you going to continue this with the next person you meet, or are you going to actually take that long look at the person in the mirror and decide that you want to grow out of this situation and experience and have a better experience and be able to use this situation to tell somebody else and maybe help them get through a situation instead of it getting to that point. So even though we feel like, oh man, I wish I'd have knew this before I got into this relationship and things like that, it sucks, but sometimes you got to go through that fire to get to where you want to be, because you might not even never realize that you have to grow up if you don't.
So.
Right. Everything in life is a blessing or a lesson. I mean, that's facts. Mary over here cheering us on. She said, "Love the transparency, Quay." And then she said, "Chastity, you better speak your truth." # growth.
Girl, I be growing, trying to at least. Tomorrow might be a different story.
It just might be. All right. So as far as talking about dating and relationships and things of that nature, I had found this TikTok and I wanted to get Quay's opinion on it.
Let me speak to us men. Sometimes it's best for us to go ahead and swallow our pride, because that pride gonna cause us to lose something we love. When the only thing we gotta do is accept accountability, admit we was wrong, and change whatever it is that's causing the problem. It could just be that simple. Huh.
You're right.
So number one, I want you to speak on what he said overall, but number two, I want you to talk about men and this pride, bro. This pride be big in y'all men. I'm just saying.
So I hit both. So what he said is 100% fact, that sometimes that's all it takes is you got to let that put your pride to the side and realize that all you got to do is own your actions, and you might can keep that person or better your relationship, whatever it may be. And the reason that it's so hard, and I don't want to speak for all men, but for the men that I know in conversations that we've had, the reason that I think it's so hard for men to let go of that pride and not lead with that pride is because honestly, you're taught from a young age that masculine pride is what you have to do. You have to be that way. You have to be a strong black man. Like if you're a weak black man, or you're viewed as a weak black man, you automatically you're further behind the 8 ball than you already start out. So it's hard. It's real hard. And that's why, like, sometimes, I post a lot. If people don't know, if you, like I said, if you know or you follow me, I post a lot. I'll be at work or supposed to be at work and I'll be posting. But everybody, one thing I think we all have to do is allow people more grace than we give them, because everybody needs more grace. And men need to give men more grace and women more grace. Women need to give women and men more grace. But some of those situations where that pride is like, this all he gotta do is let that pride go, and he'll see what everybody else see. Some guys may feel like, man, if I let my pride go, I don't got nothing else to hold on to right now. And it can be hard, but that's really one of the main reasons, because you taught that you gotta be that way. You gotta be prideful. It's a lot of stuff that as a black man that you go through that it's hard to even discuss and talk about until you're comfortable with a black woman to let her know. But if you can be prideful and show that pride, it can get you places where you think you need to be and where you want to go until you're ready to do that. So that's why I think the pride is a big issue.
Yeah. I also feel like a lot of men are told that they have to be strong black men. I don't want to quote it, but strong black men, because y'all do need to be strong black men. But are they really being shown what the definition of that is? Because a lot of people out here think they strong, but it be strong and wrong. It be strong and wrong. They not.
I think
You go ahead.
I was gonna say I think a lot of men think whenever people say you're supposed to be strong, like they supposed to be so alpha, and it's like the cocky type of alpha, and it's like no, that's not the type of strong that we want. Like it's different levels to being strong, and being a cocky alpha is not it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
women definitely want a man to be a leader in a sense, and to be the protector and things of that nature. But we want you to be that with the world, not with us. And I think that's where men get it mixed up at. Like, it's all right when we behind closed doors to be vulnerable, to share your weakest points, to communicate communicate to me how you're feeling. You know what I'm saying? Grow together, learn together, things of that nature. But sometimes men is just strong all the time, and that's so we want you to be that in the world, but you supposed to be vulnerable with me.
Right. Let me be the big spoon and you be the little spoon.
That's right. Wait, laughing like I don't know about all that.
Nah. Men can get up here. They can say what they want to do. Want to say. Men like being a little spoon sometimes.
Yes.
That's right.
It's all right to be held sometimes. I wouldn't lie. But I think that the reason why the women feel like the men don't know how to cut that switch off with women is because that's not the way. Again, it goes back. We weren't taught to be strong men in society only. We were taught, hey, you got to be a strong man all the time. And the woman aspect was the part that we were really left to figure it out. Because I can speak from experience. Like for myself, my father was in the household. Nobody taught me how to take a woman on a date. They never taught me how to court a woman. It was things I had to learn over time and trial and error. So it wasn't a natural thing to me of, all right, once you get out of the society's eyes and you get in the household, you get in the comfort of being around your woman, you can let your guard down. It's a learning progress, it's a learning curve. And a lot of times if they don't have that role model or that person to teach them those things, it'll come off that way that they just don't know how to decipher between the two.
Mm-hmm. Right. But again, that's an area for accountability. If your woman is saying, I need you not to be this person, be okay with that. Don't feel like she attacking you. Like,
right.
Sometimes accountability is not attack. Sometimes accountability is communication, that this is what I need from you. And I'm communicating with you this because I know you can be that person. Yep. I ain't gonna waste my time communicating that with somebody who just ain't gonna do it. I mean, but if I'm taking the time out, well, I might, because it's some foolish.
I understand I have in the past.
But I said it's some foolish women out there, including me. But I'm saying, like, if we in this for the long haul, if we saying I'm gonna be together forever, then we got to learn how to peel back those layers, like Olga say. That's how you got kids. Like the Olga say, peel back those layers and really get down to the meat of it. Because if you can't be your full self with your partner, who can you be your full self with?
That's a fact.
Amen.
Point blank. Frederick said facts. He was agreeing with us. Hey, Frederick.
He gonna be on too, y'all.
That's right. Someone named Tago Edwards said pride is just a mask. Tago, sorry, I just told your name slam up. I apologize. Pride is just a mask of one's own fault. Self-accountability is definitely the key to pride. It's literally the longest distance between two people. So Quay, you're right. We have to have each other more grace and room to grow. That's facts. And then Mary said, Chad, you foolish. They do like being a little spoon.
Yeah. If he's secure with himself and who he is, he can admit that he has liked being a little spoon from time to time.
Yeah, let me put these double D's on your back. Real quick.
I'm not. Since we got male company, I'm gonna not even but I think we said this week before, last week, whatever. I was like, men gotta be more comfortable with saying who they really want in the comforts of their homeboys and not who they think they should portray that they want.
Right. If you want a hoe, you want a hoe. Be with the hoe.
You want to marry Cardi B? Say I want to marry Cardi B. If you want to marry Jill Scott, say I want a natural Jill Scott. And be real about 100%.
It. Yep, I agree. I think that also goes to women as well. I think that's something that,
most definitely.
That both sides. But as far as from the man side, I think that is definitely something that men have to do. Is just if this is what you want to do right now, just be honest about it and deal with what comes with it instead of, like you said, being one way with it, and then in the back of your mind, like, man, this not even what I really want. I just gotta feel like I gotta be cool. Nah, especially now, like at this age, I don't got time to be cool. I want to be part of. I want to be part of the grown man club. I was telling the guys on like the podcast that you watch, says like, we gonna run this back, and I'm gonna be on this. I'm gonna be on the married guys in the married guys group too.
All right,
that young and run the street stuff. That is I'm too tired for all that.
Too old. I got arthritis in my left knee, asthma in my left lung. I ain't got time to be running these streets.
I'm done.
It was a rough night. Dog. You need a cane to run.
Go ahead, take a seat. Just take a seat.
You out there trying to pin with your orthopedics with a Nike sign on the side. No, let me stop. So this is so to finish up, that little segment. My question to you, Quay, is, in your opinion, how can black men hold themselves more accountable? You already kind of said, so I'm gonna put a little spin on it. How can black men hold more black men accountable?
Have the conversations that black men should have with other black men. The same questions that like you're asking me is the same question that I ask other black men, or I have conversations with black men. That was a big reason why I wanted to sit down with other black men and have the conversation so we could kind of put it out into the atmosphere. Because if we don't talk about it or bring it up or show other black men, young black men that, hey, it's all right to hold each other accountable. It's all right to tell guys, hey, man, you were wrong in this situation. You handled this wrong. You treated this woman wrong. You were disrespectful in this situation. Then it's going to continue on and nobody will ever, nobody will grow. So black men have to address black men the same way black men can get on the internet all day long and argue back and forth with black women. Nah, get up there and call out your homeboys or talk to your homeboys that you with every day that they need to, get their stuff together. Talk to them, have those conversations. And if they really your homeboy or if they really respect you, then that whole pride factor that we talked about, it won't even matter because they know you telling them something out of, the genuineness of your heart. So black men got to have these real conversations with each other.
Right. And your friend agreed. He said, talk that talk, Quay. Talk that talk, Quay.
That's cuz though. He already know. We talk about this all the time. So he already know.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, I think black women do hold black women accountable. I think where we go wrong.
Girl, bye.
No, let me finish.
We don't.
I think where we she ain't let me be. I think where we go wrong is that we hold them accountable for the wrong things. We hold them accountable for stupid stuff.
Wearing a bonnet outside.
Right. Like,
yeah. I agree. Dumb. Okay. I agree with you.
Yeah. I feel like we do to a certain extent. I just think it gets overshadowed by the dumb stuff that we try to hold women accountable for. But but a black friend will tell a homegirl, girl, you knew he was a hoe when you got with him. Like we will do that to each other. Like we'll be real with each other. We might not like to hear it, but it be the truth. We do that.
Right. Even though men don't think that we do. We be holding our friends accountable, but it's still at the end of the day, that's my friend. I'ma stick beside her. Yeah, I told her not to rob that bank, but guess what? She robbed it. I'm driving away with her.
and that's another thing. That's another thing I can add too. Like you have to surround yourself with people that will tell you the truth and hold you accountable.
Right.
If you just surround yourself with people who gonna always just say, "Nah, you was right. I feel you." Then you ain't gonna, you never gonna break the cycle. You always gonna have the thought that you were right and everybody else is wrong. So you got to put people around you that's gonna help you grow. Because if you don't, you're gonna probably be stagnant anyway. Because they don't even have your best interest at heart.
Right. I always tell people that if you got friends around you and y'all always agree, something ain't right.
Facts.
Everybody, me and Chaz is pretty close, and we don't always agree. Like point blank, period. We'll tell each other how we feel about it, and we still get along. We don't judge each other for it. That's the difference. Like, we're not gonna judge each other. We're not gonna talk behind each other back. It's a difference of opinion. It's okay to have a difference of opinion. It's okay, but if y'all agree on everything in life, you don't agree with your mama on everything in life, and you came out of her. You ain't gonna agree on everything.
Swam in her for 9 months and came out of her.
Exactly. That's a fact.
Yeah. All right, I found this article, Quay, and I want to get your opinion on some of the quotes that were said. But the title of it is, "Are Black Women Causing the Breakdown of the Black Family?"
All right.
I want to see what you think. Look, he like, oh Lord.
Nah, because I already have my answer for this, so it don't even.
So this is the one people hear the most. Black women are too independent. You think that's true, Quay?
No, I don't.
Why do you think people feel like Black women are too independent?
Where have you been, Quay?
No, I hear it.
He was saying it ain't true. He was saying it ain't true.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, where has he been? Because a lot of men say, because a lot of men say that women are too independent. It's hard. You don't hardly ever hear a man say that he doesn't think that women are too independent. So, but go ahead.
I understand the quote or the phrase, but I don't think it's true. I think that a lot of those men who probably feel that way, they have insecurities that they deal with, and that independent woman kind of challenges those insecurities. I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman being independent. I think it'll be the only way it could be an issue is if the woman is so independent to the point where she purposely or unintentionally, makes the man feel like he's not wanted or needed to an extent. But her being independent and being able to take care and manage for herself, I don't think any grown man would look at that as a fault. Like, I don't see that. So I think that's where that gets confusing. At. I think if a woman's like, if she's independent and all she's telling you, well, I don't need you, I don't need no man, then as a man, again, you gotta have some level of pride. I don't think nobody just want to hear that constantly, over and over.
Yeah,
and I think those women who handle it that way may be the ones who make it seem like women are too independent. But for the most part,
the ones that get all the men.
I can't speak on that part. I don't know.
I'm 50-50 on it. I know some old ones who still independent and alone. I'm 50-50 on it. But I feel like we all need the other a partner for something. Just because you independent and you don't need them for their money, you need their companionship, you need their shoulder to lean on, you need somebody to talk to at night. Like, I feel like people take independence. I do feel like some women take independency too far. Like, you definitely need him for something. If it ain't nothing but the lady you hold and be the big spoon and the little spoon, you need him for something. Like, we can't sit here and act like we don't need nobody for nothing. A battery operated device ain't gonna make you happy for 90 years or however long you gonna live. Like just be real.
I don't know. Nah. I had to throw one away because I got scared of it. So I don't know.
Bye. You can see who's the pasha that's occasionally pasha. Oh man, Tierra said, a guy literally just asked me if I was too independent to be in a relationship because they say this about Black women so much.
Lord,
how do you ask somebody if they too independent to be in a relationship? What kind of question is that?
I don't even know how you would lead into that question. So
You would be surprised how many men ask stupid questions like that. Oof.
I don't know. That it just doesn't like it doesn't make sense to me to ask that question. Like, I hope you are an independent adult. Like, that's something that I think everybody should be. You're independent. You can take care of yourself, all right? Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know.
You can't win. It's like either you got too much money to take care of yourself, or you need it. Like they don't feel like it's a middle person.
Yeah. Either you a $2 rent, low income housing B word, or you an independent B word. I ain't cussing today.
It's a B word overall, even though I'm pretty sure you don't want to cuss. But that's neither here nor there. Tierra said there's no winning. Either black women need to work harder and stay away from the boys, or they are too independent and need a man. Ain't that crazy? You just can't win.
She wants to depend on you. No, that's too much. You need to be working. You need to go to school, get some business by yourself. Then as soon as she gets some business by herself, she's too independent for you. What do y'all want?
Again, those are the guys who have that issue with themselves. Like, right. if they secure with who they are and they know what they bring to the table is enough to keep the table good, and that's not even just financially, it's just them as a person. If you know what you bring to the table is enough to keep her at your table, regardless of what she do, then you fine. For those guys who don't know that, that's when that independency thing becomes an issue.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the type, do what you want to do. Like, if you sure that's what you want to do that? All right, what do we got to do to make sure you're good at this? What are we going to do to make sure you're good? So I think it's just the guy. It's just the caliber of the guy at the end of the day that views it in that light.
Y'all, latest Quay is Capricorn and single.
Yeah, no. Hey, my homegirl Tierra was actually a really good kid, so I might need
Tierra, Quay, Tierra.
We're not playing matchmaker. We're not doing it. All right, Frederick said, I think women had to be independent due to the lack of a lot of men not walking in their manhood, and that's not all men, but black boys do give black men a bad rep. You preaching?
Preach, Fred.
You preaching?
Yes. Lord, we picked some good people, some good men's to have on for June.
We did. Y'all showing up and showing out. Okay, y'all showing up and showing out. But I see that bad in both ways. I see that bad in just men that was out here acting like they was ready to step up to the plate and not. But I also see that as women holding all men to accountability of what some men done. And we are bad at that. Women is bad for putting all men in a box, putting the lid on it and saying they all the same.
I used to be that way, but I have grewed up.
Not grewed. If you saying grewed, I don't know if you done it.
That was a steady girl talk. But no, I did used to be like that for real.
Right.
But it took some learning. It took some learning and some growth and figuring out that it was me that was the same, not them.
Well, accountability. Now, what was you about to say, Quay?
That's the one thing on social media that I think probably if I had to rate, that's in the top 3 of things that burn me up the most. When I see that all men ... Like, nah, that's not all men. I promise it's not. I know some great dudes out here, but the bad apples always get the FaceTime. They always get the post. They always get the notoriety, and then the good guys that are genuinely good dudes just have to look and be like, oh man, I fall into this category again. What happened today? We did what?
Right.
What happened?
We as a whole.
Like, so I think that's
I don't even know that
it's real.
But we do that, period. Like, I know this is a topic we're not gonna jump into. I promise, because we be here all night. But that's the same with cops. So many, it's really only about 20% of bad cops, but they get all of the light. And then now all cops are looked at bad. Like, no matter what, how many good cops out there in the neighborhoods and checking on the kids and connected in the resources. There are some good cops out there, but all the bad cops get all of the light.
Because usually the good ones are not holding the bad ones accountable, and it goes
That's
full
true
circle.
too.
Yep.
That's true too, but that's a
And
whole nother
I
topic
don't
for
want
another
black
day.
men. I don't want black men to be related to the bad cops. Let's change. Let's just go on to the next question. The next subject. I don't want
You
those two
right.
things to be in the same
You
sentence.
right. It's not quite the same. You right. You right.
That's
That was
true.
just the only. That's the only example I had in my
Nah,
head
I get
for
it.
this
I get
second.
it.
That's it. All right. Another one. Black women are too rough around the edges. What do y'all think that means? Too rough around the edges? I don't know what that means.
If if it's what I'm thinking, I think that some men, some women are gangster, good, loud, outspoken, and men feel like that's the problem.
So they don't have any tact.
I don't feel like that they don't have tact. I just feel like just because somebody is loud doesn't mean that they don't have tact. Just because somebody is quiet doesn't mean that they have tact. That just
Mm.
means that they're sneaky sometimes. Sometimes the outspoken person might be the best one for you versus that
That's
quiet
facts.
one.
That's fast. Them
Mice
quiet people
mice
kill
are
you. So
quiet.
it's not.
Right. Mice and snakes, they real quiet. They move in silence. And those are the ones.
Ooh.
Well, a snake, I mean, a mouse won't kill you. Well, it'll kill me and give me a heart attack. But
I'm dead.
but snakes they slither in silence and they can wrap you up in a heartbeat. So, but I think that's what it is. I think that they think that because women are loud and some ghetto and
Outspoken and
outspoken.
right. Okay. Gotcha. You feel like that's true, Quay?
Nah, I promise I'm gonna probably disagree with a lot of these because I know like it goes back to like you just said where a small percentage of the population puts a a bad look on the whole group, and I think this is just from those guys who have been hurt and they try to box all women into some small box too. And they may not have even been hurt by a woman who falls into this category, but they know if they say this, it's gonna trigger women. It's gonna make them feel a certain way. So they say it to make them feel like all black women fall into this category. When we know it's not true. Everybody's different. Everybody is their own woman. They're their own person. So I think it's used more of just a disrespectful line than having any type of real truth to it, because we are, to a certain extent, we are rough around the edges to somebody,
Right.
but that doesn't mean all black women are rough around the edges. I don't really date outside my race, but I'm pretty sure some of these other women in other races are just as rough as these men claim black women are, or even worse.
I didn't see some. I didn't see some. Like, child, I wouldn't even do that. You stopping at this store? No.
and a lot of men, a lot of men have that superiority complex where they feel like, oh, if I say or do a certain thing, you got to act a certain way or bow down to me and behave a certain way. And when a woman doesn't do that, then they also try to put that label on them as well. So I think that can be a part of it.
Right. There's a lot of people out here comparing they spouse or their partner, significant other to their parents.
Yeah.
They not gonna be your parents. Yeah. For number one and number two, you only see one side of your mom or your dad. You don't see the whole them. We don't know our full parents till we grown, and sometimes we don't know them then.
Exactly. And that's a good point that you made. That a lot of people do that, and I've had conversations with women. I asked that question, like how was your dad? What what type of person was he? And I'll be honest with some, like, well, your dad did, he did this, he did. Well, look, if you're looking for me to do all that or be your father, then I'm not that person, because that's not why I'm not here to be that. Just like I wouldn't look at you to be or treat me how my mom treated me as her only child, her only son. Like, you're never gonna reach that, but you're never gonna equate to that. So why would I even put that type of thing on a woman? So I think when people do that, that can kind of be a bad thing to add into your relationship, trying to compare someone to your parent.
Right. Especially when it comes to, like, I can only speak from a woman's point of view because I'm a woman, but especially when it comes to men saying that all women should cook and all women should clean. And my mama was out at every game and every PTA thrift meeting, and she was always there to clean my clothes. Blah, blah, blah. But was your mama happy?
Right.
Like, and you really don't know because we
probably
and even to this day we good at hiding.
Yeah.
And
or did she ever get a break? Like, did your mom ever get a chance to not do that? You know, like, again, something that I don't know. Like, a lot of, like, those type of the guys that say these things, they are the ones that, like, again, that's why when you ask how do black men hold black men accountable, it's by having conversations about these topics with black men, because it makes the black men who get it, you know, our voice isn't as heard as the guys who don't get it, because we know, you know, negativity is what catches everybody's eye. But they just be saying stuff, like, they just really be out here. They be hurt. People be hurt, and they say stuff when they hurt that doesn't really make sense in the big picture.
Hurt people try to hurt other people.
That's facts. Mary raised her hand up to the if women are rough, and then she said, "I've heard that before, but for the right person, I'm marshmallow soft." I know that's right. Marshmallow soft.
Being that, yes, baby. What do you need?
Okay.
Friends be looking sideways like, who's this? Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
That's me. I am friend. Let me stop. Frederick said, I think some black women get back into relationships before they are healed from the scars left by the boy they were with. All right, you own something. So they take those attitudes and distrust and put them on the next man. And conversely, some black women have standards that they hold men to as they should. And those boys can't handle it and get in their feelings and don't know how to take constructive advice to help them grow as a man. You preaching, Frederick.
Yeah.
You preaching.
And
I like how you came from both sides. Because a lot of people be out here just trying to get a man's point of view, or just get a woman's point of view. I personally try to always look at it from both sides, but a lot of people don't do that. But that's facts. That's facts. You hit that right on the head, right on the nail, right on the head. Let me be clear. The next one said black women don't know how to treat a man.
No, man. Black women know how to treat men. Like, it's almost instinctive, like, in nature. Like, and I think that goes for black people in general. Like, black people know how to treat black people. Like, when that's your mission, that's your focus, to nurture somebody, protect them, you're gonna do that, and it's gonna be second nature. Black women birth black children, birth black men. They know how to take care of black men.
Right.
Some black men don't deserve it. Like, and they don't want to accept the fact that you can't just walk in and kick your feet up and get treated like the, you know, the king that you think you are, that you see, if you don't deserve it. Like, you don't. Right. It don't work that way. You gotta put in. You gotta, you know, put in your work to get. To treat her a certain way for her to even feel comfortable enough or want to treat you a certain way. If you ain't doing nothing, what you need to get? What do you need that treatment for? Like, go do something. Go work.
Right.
You sitting here at the house, Jody, driving her car over to your other baby mama's house.
Not baby boy. Not baby boy. I don't even think it's that bad in some situations. I think sometimes people in relationships, both parties are working and, you know, both parties are bringing, you know, money to the table and things of that nature. And they both know how to love on each other and whatever the case may be. But being somebody who is married, you got to learn each other love languages. Everybody's love language ain't the same. Nope. So just because I may be thinking I'm treating you the best of my ability and I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, but if I'm not doing it in a way that you are receiving it, then you are assuming that I'm not treating you well. And it's not that. It's just because we're not on the same page.
I agree. And I want to add to that love language thing. A lot of people it's not a mistake, but it's kind of we approach it from the wrong angle, because most people, they they love people or they show love to people the way that they feel like they want it. And a lot of times people, like you said, love language might be different. So just because I'm loving you the way I would want to be loved doesn't mean I love you any less. But if it's not coming across to you the way that you receive it, then it doesn't really have an effect.
Right. Facts. That's facts. And sometimes your love language is totally on the opposite end of the spectrum as your partner's. And until you learn that, number one, you can't really do anything about it. Y'all just going back and forth. You don't spend enough time, or you don't do enough of this, or you don't do enough of that. Well, really, in my mind, I'm thinking I'm doing everything. I'm getting up. These kids is ready. They bathe, they clothed, they fed. You make bills is paid. Like I'm doing everything. This is what woman. This is how I was coming from it. But then I learned that my partner's love language was quality time. So me doing all those acts of services didn't mean squat.
Sit down, leave those dishes in the sink, get over here on this couch and let's watch this movie together.
Right. Exactly. Mary said, Quay, you better come on here and speak a good word. Okay.
He's speaking. He's speaking tonight.
Amen hands up. And then Tierra said, listen, I treats with an S a man if he mine. I fix mama a plate and take a kid to the park.
I know that's right. No, that's right. Some men, they don't want to make the commitment, but still be wanting husband vibes. My words just went away. But they be wanting wife duties and don't even want to commit to a woman. They don't even want to put the label that we boyfriend and girlfriend. This is my little freak. But you want me to fix you a plate. I wish I would. My friends fix their own plate. Fix your plate.
I'm done. Hey, some women the same way. We be saying we want to be a wife, but then don't want to stay at the house, want to be out every night with the homegirls. Want to not cook at all, don't want to take care of the kids at all. Women do the same thing. It's just in different form.
He knew she was that way before he tried to wife her up.
You knew he was that way before you husband her. Come on now, this is about accountability. Accountability. You knew he wasn't worth nothing when you married him.
He said he loved her.
Just because he was working at the trap don't mean he know how to do finances. Okay.
No. If they working at the trap, they know how to do finances. Don't you do them.
And then when it's time to get a new apartment, his credit score 2, and you mad because y'all can't get in it.
Like, his credit score ain't even coming up, ma'am. You're like, no, check it
ain't even registered. He ain't got a bank account. He out here with a Bluebird card. He ain't even got a bank account.
What was that baby fat card? You remember the baby fat farm cards? He still got that.
We all wrong. Okay, sorry. We got way off. And we actually out of time, but I wanted to do the last thing. Let's see. Oh, so I can't go over everything else we had, but Chastity did bring this ignorance to the podcast, and she wanted to get your thoughts on who in the wrong. So it's a text message thread. It says, "Stay away from my dude," and the person says, "Say please," and the girl says, "Please," and she said, "I'd rather not. Good morning though." And then the next part of the thread says, B, she called her B, and then the girl says, "Actually, I would, if you would cash out me $70, you got a deal." And she sent her cash out. And then the girl said, "Did you get it?" And she said, "Yeah, now you out of a nigga and $70. Have a good day." And then she posted the proof of the case.
Wow. Oh man.
Who should take accountability for this?
The one who sent the $70.
Thank you. That's what I said.
They both wrong. They both wrong.
No, honey.
if you gotta message somebody else for messing with your partner wrong. That person is not accountable for anything but what your partner allowed them to know. That's she wrong because she could have checked him and kept her $70. Now she out here
Right.
$70 less and no man.
And she got screenshotted. That's not gonna last forever.
That's gonna last forever. Don't people know technology lasts forever? I don't understand. You think they deleted off their phone.
The girl bought some weed off her money.
$70 for weed. Tierra was so nice, Quay. She said, well, the girl was very polite.
She did say thank you.
And she said good morning.
She did. She did say good morning. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. They both wrong. I don't care what y'all say. They both wrong. She knew she manipulating the heck out of that situation.
Well, honey, if you want to be stupid, let's be stupid. Send me the $70.
If you can get it straight to send you $70, then you're doing something right in my book.
I mean, they do say don't hate the player, hate the game. I guess that's a good instance of you can't hate the player.
I want to know. Wait, I'm just curious. What kind of man is this that she wants to keep him so bad that she was willingly to easily send $70 without a gun pulled to her head? Like, ma'am,
you're doing something right.
He was worth $70 to both of them. That's the bad part.
Right.
Right.
Didn't even think about that. That's $35 a piece. That's all he worth to y'all? $35 a piece?
Because I bet you if the girl who got the $70 really should just drop him at this point. But I'm pretty sure she probably stayed in there with him. They both still.
She probably stayed just off of the fact that the girl reached out to her. So that right there made her mad. She's like, I'm gonna show you. Then the other girl, she's staying because she proving that he loved her whole time. He married to Tiffany down the street, and that's who he paying all the bills at. Child, it be messy.
Bridget said, "Who the hell?"
it be messy out here in these streets, and I'm here for it. Y'all just keep being stupid and putting it on social media because I like to look at it and laugh and send it to my friends.
It do be funny. Oh man, I hate we out of time. I had like 2 more things to go over, but we are at an hour and 31 minutes, so I guess we need to let it go. But I don't know. I do kind of want to get your opinion on one more thing, Quay, because you've been so good. I want to get your opinion. It's gonna be real short, y'all, real quick. Right. I showed this last month to the women, and they gave their opinion. I want you to give your opinion on this. It says 98% of children have absent fathers because of their mother's behavior.
I'm gonna keep my disagree record intact. I disagree.
Oh, hallelujah!
There are a lot of reasons, a lot of different things that can make it hard for fathers, and if women, attempt or they go down that road, it can be, hard and bumps in the road. But I just stand and I believe if you're gonna be a father and you want to be in your child's life, nothing gonna stop you from being in your child's life. No, it just don't work that way. You have to give up at some point to be considered an absent father in my book. And once you give up, that's not her. That's not. She didn't make you give up. You quit. So exactly. And 98%, like what? Nah.
Right. I was like, first of all, the percentage is really high. Second of all, it's just another excuse and a way to blame women for you not doing what you're supposed to do. Because we got the same laws.
I do want to say now that there are situations where, and I have people that that I'm close to that I speak to about these situations, and I'm going through situations where they try to do everything right, the court thing and everything, and it still hasn't been played out in their favor. But the thing that I still want to add to the end of that is they haven't stopped trying to be fathers to their kids. So
and that's
even if it's hard, if you don't stop trying to be a father, and eventually your kid is going to grow up and they're going to know, oh nah, I knew what was going on, Dad, but you kept trying, so they'll know. But once you quit and start pointing blame, you just quit. It's not her fault.
Right.
Can I give some advice?
Oh, I was just gonna say, and I'll let you do it. I said that's my thing. They saying 98% of that, but I bet you only 15% actually took that woman to court.
Right.
Yep.
I don't know what it is
Probably
about
less than
men in
that.
court. Right, I'm actually giving grace, but I don't know what it is about men wanting to take. They just automatically assume the system gonna do them wrong. No, try and let the system do you wrong. They don't even try. They just like it ain't gonna work out anyway. So what's the point? But
And
that
keep
ain't fair to the
trying.
child.
And
That
keep
ain't not
trying.
fair.
But even though that's right here, if some people may be mad about this, but men, if you are dealing with a woman that is trying to keep you out of your child's life, stop picking up the phone. Do everything through text and email. It's easier to show that this person is keeping you intentionally from your child, and you are doing everything that you can to be a part of your child's life. It's easier to print out those and take that to court than it is for you to say, "Oh, I called on Sunday at 3:54 and she didn't answer." It's easier to show text.
Mm-hmm.
And they even have apps that you can download that even if you deleted some of the messages or the girl deleted some messages, it's still gonna auto save in there and you can never go back in and erase it. The same
Right.
Google that I use to figure that out is the same Google that y'all can use to figure that
Right.
out. Use Google.
Right.
Yep.
Right. That's good. That's good. And quit correlating child support and custody are the same. Come on, learn your rights.
Oh, well, it
All right.
depends on the state.
Well, in North Carolina, learn
Yeah,
your
North
rights.
Carolina
I can't
definitely not.
speak for everywhere.
Child support
But
and
you
custody is
literally
not.
cannot pay a dime, but you still have right to see your children. So
Mm-hmm.
quit letting women use that against you. Learn your laws in your
Exactly.
state.
Take care of your kids.
That.
Simple
Right.
as that.
Simple as that.
That.
Simple as that. And we got both Frederick and Mark agreeing. We can't wait to have you guys on. I think it's not next week, but the
2
next week.
weeks. Yeah.
Yep. But this has been an amazing discussion. Thank you so much, Quay. You have been great. We're
Appreciate
gonna definitely bring you back. And if you ever want, to have a woman's point of view on your podcast, keep us in mind. So
I definitely
thank
will.
you,
I
thank you,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
I appreciate it. It's been
Yeah.
very, very fun. Very fun.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
For those who have been watching, please make sure to share, like, subscribe. We are on Facebook, Instagram. We are on most audio podcast platforms. Like we're on YouTube. This actually streams live on YouTube as well, so you can watch it on your TV. But even if you don't watch it the day of, you can listen to it on most audio podcast platforms the next day. So it gets loaded to Apple and Pandora and iHeart and Audible and all of them, whatever you got, we on it. So go on there and listen to it. Or if you want to listen to it again while you're riding down the road, sometimes I listen to myself and laugh on the next day. So please make sure to go do that. If you ever want to be on our show or if you have any topic ideas, you can inbox us at occasionally posh on any of those platforms, or you can email us at occasionallyposh@gmail.com. And then also, if you want to just give us a little something, cause doing this ain't free, you can hit us up at a money sign occasionally posh. So, Quay, I don't want you to go anywhere yet, but I am gonna play the outro video, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Appreciate it.